Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. And then by his instruction, Srila Prabhupada come to West, and because of his mercy, by his divine grace, we are sitting in this property, right? So let's remember him. And today, also the topic which I chose, which is a spiritual journey of Narad Muni, which is one of the great exalted guru in Srimad Bhagavatam. So let's first chant Jai Radha Madhav. So, Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Kunja Vihari Shakti Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Brajajana Yashodanandana Brajajana Randana Yashodanandana Brajajana Randana Brajajana Randana Yamuna Tiravanachari Yamuna Tiravanachari Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Yamuna Tiravanachari Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jai Shri Radha Madhav ki Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay, so welcome everyone for Sunday Feast program. We'll dive into the subject today. So today's topic is a spiritual journey of Narada Muni, right? So what we expect today in next 45 minutes? Okay. So first we will explore Narada Muni's spiritual journey, right? How he come to this point. Also, Narad Muni is also a building block in a Srimad Bhagavatam because he comes almost every canto, right? And understanding what the value he brings in spiritual or devotional service. Also reflect on following Narad Muni's footstep and how personally we all can improve by following his footsteps. So these are some of the topics we will going to touch in next 45 minutes. To begin our class, I took this verse, which is very famous verse in Srimad Bhagavatam. So Narad Muni, Narad Muni come in Srimad Bhagavatam in the first canto, in the chapter fourth, at the end of the fourth chapter, fifth and sixth chapter, where actually Narad Muni is explaining about himself to Vyasadeva. And there's a conversation between Narad Muni and Vyasadeva which is going on, right? So this whole class is based on that conversation and some of the quotes we took from the Srimad Bhagavatam. So this is of 1:6:26 verse, right? I'll chant the verse. Namani anantasya hatatra pathan guhyani bhadrani kritani smaran kam paryatam tustamana spraha kalam pratiksham vimado vimatsara नामानि अनन्तस्य हतात्र पठन् गुह्यानि भद्राणि कृतानिश्च स्मरन् गां पर्यटं तुष्टमनागतस्पृहं कालं प्रतीक्षं विमतो विमत्सरः. Let's look at the translation. Thus I began chanting the holy names and fame of the Lord by repeated recitation, ignoring all formalities of material world. Such chanting and remembering of transcendental pastime of the Lord are beneficiary. So doing, I travel all over the world, fully satisfied, humble, and unenvious. This is actually Narad Muni speaking to Vyasadeva. I think how many of you attended the Nityanand Trayodasi class last Wednesday, right? So there was one similarity between this verse and the verse which was quoted by Shyamkund Prabhu. If you recall, Shyamkund Prabhu explained that Lord Chaitanya instructs something to Nityananda, which is also in very much on similar in this line, where Lord Chaitanya instructs Nityananda that you go every house and town and then send the message of Krishna, right? I think if you read this verse, which actually explain the life of Narad Muni, where Narad Muni is also talking about reciting and traveling earth in full satisfaction, and he is chanting and glorifying the message of the Lord. So let's read the purport here. The life of science of the life of a sincere devotee of the Lord is thus explained in a nutshell by Narad Muni, by his personal example. Such a devotee, after his initiation by Lord or bona fide spiritual representative, take a very seriously chanting of glories of Lord and traveling all over the world, so that other may also hear the glories of the Lord. Such devotee have no desire for material gain. They are conducted by one single desire, to go back to Godhead. This awaits them in a due course on acquitting the material body, because they have the highest aim of life, going back to Godhead. They are never envious of anyone, nor they are proud of being eligible to go back to Godhead. Their only business is to chant and remember the holy name, fame, and pastime of the Lord, and according to the personal capacity, to distribute the message of others' welfare without motive of material gain. Such a wonderful purport, right? So, in a class, we'll dig down into this one of the verse and then started to hear and see how the Narad Muni's life progress, right? Here in this purport, if you see, Prabhupada write in this purport, and what he's writing about the how the sincere devotee behave, right? He indicate that how he talks, how he travel around, how he acts, right? And who is that devotee? Is a Narad Muni, right? And this verse is also comes at the culmination or the completion of the spiritual journey of the Narad Muni, where he's describing his journey from very much materially attached person. In this next two chapters of Bhagavatam, he's explaining that how he was materially so much attached, and then gradually he become very spiritually inclined, and then finally attain the perfection of the life. Now, if you see our life, right? If you see our life is also between the two spectrum. What are those spectrum? Our life starts with so much of material attachment, and gradually, as we progress, and when our attraction towards Krishna increases, we become spiritually attached, right? So it is between these two spectrum. Now, also, if you see in this purport, right, there are two things. If the I underline on the purport one word which Prabhupada explained, that Narad Muni explained in nutshell by his own example. Actually, devotee, right? Devotee are live very exemplary life. You know, they teach by their own example. If you read Prabhupada's first canto's introduction, where Prabhupada actually write in an introduction that the actually Bhagavad who are putting the Bhagavatam in practice, right? So the real devotee, what he do, that he doesn't just. We said I was reading this one of the book, Ocean of Mercy by Bhakti Charu Maharaj, and Bhakti Charu Maharaj has a desire to learn Sanskrit, and he went to Prabhupada, and he was a Prabhupada secretary, and Prabhupada he was serving him. So he went to Prabhupada, and Prabhupada he asked Prabhupada, I want to learn Sanskrit. Prabhupada, that why you want to do so? He said, I can be present very well in front of everyone. But Prabhupada says that no need to do that. Just read my books, and then it will going to give you all the understanding, right? And Prabhupada quoted, I think Bhakti Charu Maharaj quote in the book. He said that our job is not to become a pandit. Our job is to become devotee. And Prabhupada write in the introduction of Bhagavatam that to become a devotee, you have to learn the Bhagavatam, not the not an academic way, but to extract the points from the Bhagavatam which you can implement in your daily life, right? That was the message. And in this next two chapters, where in the fifth and the sixth chapter of Bhagavatam, actually Narad Muni explained his personal example and personal life. He's explaining his personal behavior, that how he's conducting himself. Also, if you read the last three lines, right, where Prabhupada is writing, their only business is to chant and remember the holy name, fame, and the pastime of the Lord. And according to his personal capacity, he distribute the message to others and welfare without of material gain. Right? So if you look at the word to word translation here, right? Where a couple of few important words are there in the word to word translation in that verse. First one is a namani. Naman is a holy name and its fame, etc. Another one word is anantasya. Actually, anantasya means unlimited, right? Actually, this anantasya does not only reflect the potency of the name of the unlimited, but actually it also indicates that there is no limit to being and practicing the devotional service, right? Prabhupada many times give the example that someone asks you to chant Coca-Cola, right? How many times you can chant? You can just chant maybe few times, but by chanting the Krishna's name, it is unlimited. You can chant for your lifelong, you know, till you die. You can continue to chant, but it is but the bliss, right? Which will, as you chant more, it will go and increase, right? So that's why the next word, which is next word which was there, is a patan. Patan is to recite and repeated reading, right? Once we more and more repeated reading we do of the shastras, our love and our devotion for Krishna increases, right? And then and the fourth word, which is important, which is hatha tapa, which indicate the being freed from all the formalities of material world. So if we look at it, that by following all these things, Narad Muni was actually free from formalities of life. Actually, if we look at what are the formalities of life, right? Formalities of life is very formal in nature. Means whatever we try, it will try to catch us, right? So our life of a living entity is generally in between the four junctions. What is that? Which is a janma, mrityu, jara, vyadhi. Right? Everyone has to go through that. Everyone has to take birth. Everyone has to die. And between birth and death, there is jara. Jara means old age. And vyadi means all the upadhis, all the problems what we face, which is not even applicable to us. It is applicable to everyone. Even if you are Bill Gates, he has a problem, right? Even if you ask lower species, a living entity, they also has to go through this, right? And in between, there is a modes of nature, right? Because those modes, Rajagun, Sattvagun, Tamagun, they also catch us, right? Actually, if you see in the third canto, where Kapil Muni, right? Kapil Muni explained that when someone is performing a mixed devotee, which is a mixed devotional service, which is tinged by the different modes, right? That is also catches, and they catch us, and it's really difficult for us to come out of it, come out of this. Also, there are threefold miseries, right? Third one is threefold miseries. We have Adi Bhautik Vyadis, we have Adhyatmik, and we have Adi Bhautik, Adhyatmik, and Adi Devik, right? So one which comes from mind and body, another one which is given by other living entities, right? You may remembering of your bosses Monday morning. Also, there's some catastrophe which is beyond everyone's control, right? If there's a wildfire in California and the people's homes get burned to the dust, is there any way one can escape? No. Right? So these are the threefold miseries, and and another one is the four defects, right? Every conditioned soul, they have the four defects, right? We try to commit mistakes, we become illusion, we are imperfect in senses, we have tendency to cheat others, right? So it's really hard for to come out of all these formalities, because wherever we go, they try to catch us. But Narad Muni learned, or Narad Muni by his own practice of bhakti, he learned how to come out of this, right? Also, in other words, the other formalities are referred to as a designation, right? Everyone, very often in this material world, we have different designations, right? I'm a son, I'm a daughter, I'm a father, or someone who is a grandfather. They have their kids, so they carry all these family designations. When we go to office, our own, someone is CEO, someone is project manager. They have their own designations in them. Many times, what happens when we even come to spiritual life, we carry that baggage. When we come, we said, okay, I'm so and so. I have this responsibility. This is my service. So those designations are really creating problems in our life. Or else, I can put it, those designations uh, actually implicate or really consume us in this material world. And then finally, it would be really hard for us to ignore these formalities of this material world. But as I explained earlier, that how Narad Muni, he was happily and was able to come out of all these formalities. And what was a simple formula of doing so? As explained in this Namani Ananta Shivas, he was continuously reciting the holy names and his pastime of the Lord. And he was free from all the formalities, and he was fully satisfied. Here, Prabhupada actually, he was explaining that satisfy means he's free from envy and pride. These are the two anathas he was away. That's why he was always fully satisfied. So, if we see that Narad Muni is one of the most beloved devotee of the Lord, right? So, how did Narad Muni come to this point? Also, we would likely we will be a little bit dwell into that how Narad Muni is so important in Srimad Bhagavatam, and also we were going to learn a little bit the importance of Narad Muni in a bhakti tradition, right? So, if you these are some of the verses which explain or glorify the Narad Muni. Here in the 6:16:26, Prabhupada write that Narad Muni is exalted as devotional father. Like it's like uh, uh, it's a material example, but we said that Mahatma Gandhi is the father of the nation, right? So here he's a father of devotional service. In 1026, Lord Krishna himself comparing him with Narad Muni, right? He is one of the 12 Mahajan, right? He's authority in distributing the knowledge of Krishna. In 41214, if you read the translation, Prabhupada actually used the word Bhagwan for Narad Muni. Means it is specifically reserved for Lord himself. But Prabhupada, and in the translation, he referred Narad Muni as Bhagwan. 6 by 22, it says that the immediate spiritual master is a representative of Narad Muni, and there is no difference between the instruction of Narad Muni and those of the present spiritual master. So there is no difference between your spiritual master and Narad Muni itself and his instruction. Also, if you read Bhagavatam, you'll realize that Narad Muni has a great spiritual master and he has a great line of disciples in the Bhagavatam, right? And I can think of these are some of the great disciples on the pictures. If you can see, the first one is a Valmiki, right? He was a Ratnakar, and when the Narad Muni met him, he instructed him, and then he became Valmiki. Second one is Vyasdev himself, who wrote all the Purans, all the Bhagavatam, everything is a literal incarnation of Lord. Narad Muni is a guru of Vyasdev. Third one is a Brigari Hunter, right? The fourth picture is of the Chitraketu Maharaj, who was a guru of Chitraketu Maharaj. Also, we have Prahlad Maharaj, who has been instructed by Narad Muni in the womb of Mother Kayadu. And we have Dhruv Maharaj, he was also instructed by Narad Muni. So if you look at the Bhagavatam, half of the Bhagavatam, right, is filled with this with the all the disciple of Narad Muni. So if you look at the life of Narad Muni, before he come to this point where he was like he's a building block of a Bhagavatam, he was actually pakka materialist, right? If you read the seventh canto of the Bhagavatam, where Narad Muni has another conversation with Yudhishthira Maharaj. In that conversation, Narad Muni is explaining that who he was in a previous life, right? So actually, Narad Muni was in previous life, he was a Gandharva named as Upabarhana. Hmm. Narad Muni now talking to Yudhishthira Maharaj. He's telling that long, long time ago, right? In Mahakalpa, or in the millennium of Brahma, he existed as a Gandharva named Upabarhana. And he was very respected Gandharva. He had a beautiful face, a pleasing and attractive bodily structure, decorated with flower garland and sandalwood pulp. And he was pleasing to women in the city. Thus, he was bewildered and had a feeling of lusty desires. Right? He was kind of a pakka materialist person, and he was been given a lot of God talent. Right, singing talent he was given. Because those who know the Gandharvas are known as a celestial singers, right? So one day what happened? One day there was a big Sankirtan festival was arranged, right? Actually, we arranged a 24-hour Kirtan program, but we were long ago, even in a celestial world, they had a Sankirtan festival, and it was arranged by whom? It was arranged by the Prajapatis. Prajapatis is the living entity who is created by Brahma to fill this world with the devotee, right? So Prajapati arranged the big festival, right? And in that festival, Narad Muni or the Upabarhana, in his previous birth, he was been invited, right? And when he was invited, he was so much blinded, by his God-given talent, right? And he was blinded by it, and he was, instead of glorifying, the aim of the Sankirtan festival was to glorify the Lord, right? But Narad Muni, what he did, instead of glorifying the Lord, he started glorifying those who were praising him. So he started glorifying the demigods, he started glorifying the people around them. And when the Prajapati noticed that, they got really mad. They were really disturbed, and they were really upset with Upabarhana, and they cursed him. They stated that you have been given a God talent, right? You are supposed to utilize that talent into glorifying the Lord, but you have displayed the ingratitude, and therefore, a man of your uncultured behavior, devoid of beauty and intelligence, good parentage and opulence, we curse now that you become somewhat of a very lowly person in your next life. So it appears that in the Upavarana, end his life with a very lowly and a tragic way. Right? And Narada left his body, and actually in the next birth, he born as a devotee. Sorry, he was born as the son of a maidservant. So Narad Muni, right, tragically descend into the family of a maidservant. It is kind of a Narad Muni's second journey. He was born at a very poor mother. She was a maidservant in the house. Here, Narada did not have his beauty. He did not have his fame. Right. He did not have his riches. He did not have education nor high parentage. Right. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says high parentage, beauty, all those are really obstacle because they are the kind of a diversion in your spiritual bhakti. It can really take you off from this path of devotional service. So he did not have anything. But one thing which was very important here, that the simple lady or the maid servant, right? He had a one advantage. That maid servant was a very pious at the heart, right? And whenever some of the sannyasis or visit his master's home, she very humbly served them, right? So what happened was that when at the master's home, many time into the if you read the Bhagavatam and scriptures, at the time of rainy season and also time of the autumn, the sannyasis doesn't travel. The Chaturmas, we call it Chaturmas, right? They don't travel; they stay at one place, right? And during Chaturmas, they follow different regulations. They really dwell themselves into the spiritual teachings, right? So this all the Bhakti Vedantas, when they visit the maid servant's home, they sit down together, and when they sit down, what they do? They don't talk about politics. They don't talk about sports, NFL. They actually, when they get together, they talk about Bhagavatam. Right? They talk about the Bhagavatam, and during that time, the maid servant who was serving this Bhaktivedanta, she attentively hear all the Bhaktivedant's discussion. She hear them, and not only hear them, but when she hear, she go back. When she go back, he actually discuss those descriptions or all those discussions and the pastimes with Narada, right? So that is a beauty, right? And if you see that actual the quality of this telling and sharing the stories was instilled in Narada by his mother, the maidservant, right? That's why Narada, Prabhupada write in a purport and in Bhagavatam, he called Naradji as a eternal spaceman because he was traveling in the space and then he was just glorifying and telling and discussing the glories of the Lord. And later, what Narad Muni's mother, what she did, or this young boy's mother, what she did is that she engaged that boy in the service of this Bhaktivedantas, right? And when he engaged him, that was actually the starting point for Narad Muni in his spiritual journey, right? And so, if you see what a big difference a pious mother can make into the life of a child. Right? My Guru Maharaj used to say that never be very stingy in a devotional service. Whenever you go around, at the Bhakti Vriksha is one of the good example. We get together, people get together on a Friday evening. We discuss the pastimes of the Lord. So same way, wherever you go, whatever the place you're visiting, just share the message of the Lord. Right? In Bible, it is said that it is a spreading the good word of the Lord. Right? That is, it has been said. Now, another one important point which I would like to discuss here is that see the mercy of the Lord. There is a one verse in fourth canto where Pracheta sings. What Pracheta sings? Namo Vishuddha Sattvaye Hariye Hari Medase. Right? This is the only verse in Bhagavatam where actually Hari's brain, because Lord, we said his body is transcendental, but in this verse, they're discussing the brain of the Lord. And what Lord is doing with his brain? it explains in that verse is that he is continuously making the plan by which all the living entity, you all who are sitting here, he is making the plan by which you all can go back to Godhead. Lord is continuously thinking, and that has been described by Prachetas in this verse, right? And here also Narada, right, was given a chance in his previous life, Upabarhana, right? But what did he do? He did not use his life into the service of the Lord, right? But when he got a next birth as a son of the maid servant, actually, as explained by this verse, Krishna gave him a second chance, right? How he's gave him a second chance? By giving him birth into the devotee mother. And second point is that he can really connect him to the devotees, right? Now, what happened? So after when the Narada engaged into the service of the causeless or the service of the Bhaktivedantas, right? Bhagavatam explained that this Bhaktivedantas nature, right? They were very impartial. In Bhagavatam, it's explained they were very impartial. They are not thinking that Narada is not he's not a Brahmana. He's just a boy. He doesn't his age. So there is no discrimination, right? We have our work policy, right? No discrimination policy. Same way, the uh, the Bhaktivedantas have a no discrimination policy, right? So whether whatever the form of this young boy, he was around, and Bhaktivedantas were giving him a lot of blessings, right? And Narada Muni was serving Bhaktivedantas with full of his heart, right? And after the blessings, and they were really showering blessings on the Narada Muni. Actually, one more important point is that the blessings plays a very important role in the devotee's life, right? It has been said that the spiritual progress in the bhakti very much depend on the blessings of your guru, blessings of your elders, blessings of the people around you, blessings of the devotees who are hearing you, blessings of the devotees who get inspired from you, right? Actually, it has been said that our personal endeavor has a very small part to play, but the blessings of the devotees around you is a very large part. So one has to conduct, one has to behave certain way where we don't expect unnecessary some disturbance to the other people around us, and where they have some disturbance, and we can continue to receive their blessings, right? And also Narad Muni continued to speak. This whole part now it is into the first canto where Narad Muni again talking to Vyasadeva. Right? And while he was serving all the Bhaktivedantas, Narad Muni's character started to change. Right? He started to develop all the good qualities, which is a prerequisite in a devotional service. He become very much self-controlled. Right? In a nectar of instructions, we always says that. The third verse, if you can, vacho, yes, vacho vegam, manasa krodha vegam, right? So that principle, whatever that five principle which has been explained, that only by associating and serving Bhakti Vedantas, those qualities which is required, right, they started to get manifest into Narad Muni. Right? And so now Narad Muni, with the permission of all the Bhaktivedanta, right? One day, what happened? Narad Muni, with the Bhaktivedanta's permission, he got chance to eat the remnant of their food, right? The Mahaprasad, right? Those who are serving the Guru Maharaj, right? And those who are those who have served in past, right? Guru Maharaj give you a chance to eat the Mahaprasad, right? Remnant which has been left, right? When he first take the remnant of the Bhakti Vedantas, all the sins in the heart of the Narada Muni, they are vanished, right? They are vanished, and then all the message which transcendentalists which were giving to Narada, they started to attract in his heart. So if you see the spiritual journey of a Narad Muni, where first he received the causeless mercy by his devotee, right, and then gradually he started to he got chance to eat the remnants of the Bhakti Vedantas, and because of doing so, his sins got eradicated, and he started to develop the attractions for hearing hearing the Krishna Katha. There is one another very good, beautiful verse which is of the similar understanding, where it explains that how we can develop attractions for Krishna, which is explained in Srimad Bhagavatam by Kunti Maharani. Right? If you read the Kunti's prayer, where in the verse 1842, right, where Kunti Maharani is singing, she said, "Twai me anaya vishaya." Right. So here Kunti Maharani explained three principles. Right. First, she said that she's talking, or if I read the word to verse translation, what she's saying in this verse is that, "O Lord Madhu, as a Ganges forever flow to the sea without hindrance, let my attraction be constantly draw unto you without being diverted to anyone else." So she's explaining in this verse three main principles. One is unalloyed, which is one pointed attention, right? One pointed, very one focused attention to Krishna. Second is attractions towards a Krishna. So if we when we are so here she's not directly asking that just Krishna give me attraction, but actually if you read or what I explained into the verse, that first she's asking for attention, right? When we are talking to someone, right, and if someone is not paying attention, what do you say? Please pay attention, right? Right. And if you go into the further detail, attention means what? Attention means that we have to hear, right? We have to hear submissively, right? When we said you are not paying attention means that you are not hearing submissively. That's why you are not paying attention. So when we hear submissively someone, it will gradually give us attention, and when the attention comes, right, then we can develop attraction for the Lord. Right? Now, so if we go further, right? So the whole spiritual journey of the Narad Muni, right? He developed further, by following this process. He very much attentively heard the glories, right? He started to, once he's following this process, his attraction increases, and then he started to attentively hear the glories of the Lord. And once he started hearing the glories of the Lord, right, his attractions started to develop for the Lord. And Narada developed a very unflinching, because now what was happening is that if you ask any of the devotees, right, when they follow very attentively and hear attentively, you might have also personally have felt that in the morning, if you do nice japa, very attentive japa, right, then what happened in the whole day, right? Whenever you're doing some work, when you stop by or something, and if you stop and think about consciously, probably the that Harinam is continuously ringing in your brain, right? Because that would help you when we increase our attention. That would help you to be attentive and to be attracted to the Lord throughout the day. And actually, that is the perfections of the spiritual life. Now, when he continued, when the Narada, right, when he continued to hear, so now Bhagavatam tells us that as the little boy realized um, that now he continued to hear the glories of the Lord, he gradually realized that he accepted this gross body, right, and as the devotional service flowed in his heart, right, all the coverings of the gross ignorance, all the attachment what he had, right, it's gradually to vanished. And then one thing which would happen is gradually his behavior become very gentle, right? If you read again Prabhupada, if you read the Prabhupada purport in this one, there Prabhupada so much emphasize on the behavior again. And then he explained that how by following this process, Narad Muni's behavior become gentle, right? Actually, when I was studying in college, right, one day I was really young and only a few months in Krishna consciousness, and I was sitting with my Guru Maharaj, and I asked him a question. That Guru Maharaj, how do I know that my bhakti is working? Right? I asked him, how do I know my bhakti is working? I'm not sure whether Krishna is listening to me or not. So he said, it's very simple to understand whether the Krishna is hearing your prayer or you are doing the following the practice very correctly. He said, what the difference you see in yourself um, following this practice of devotional service and before when you were so much into the material life. So I said, okay, yes, I can see that is gradually changing my life, right? I started waking up early. I started following the bhakti. Started to I developed some love towards reading and studying scriptures, and hold the process of devotional service. Then he said, yes, that is the barometer, right? When we accept devotional service, right? When we accept the devotional service, our behavior should change, right? Our attraction towards Krishna should increase. And every point, when I was discussing with my Shiksha Guru, Devkinand Prabhu, that Prabhu, how do I know that things are going in the right directions? He said that all the main junctions of your life, whether you're first, okay, you finish your college, you got the job, and you got the job, you get married, you have kids, you're moving further, right? Even you are progressing into your material world. Every junction you should stop there, and then reflect, am I doing something better every year in your spiritual sadhana? If you're doing that, means you are in a right track. If you're not doing that, then definitely one should introspect. And what one should introspect? One should introspect the motive of devotional service. Whether are you performing your devotional service with the correct intention, as the Nectar of Instruction explained, right? It explained the definition of bhakti, right? Anya abhilashita sunyam, right? What is the motive? Am I doing the bhakti without any motive, right? One has to check their motive, because Krishna is very smart. Okay, he really check. He will really knock you down a couple of times before he will give you a chance in his circle, right? To enter, like if you are at the work and everywhere, to enter into the good circle, you really work hard. You have to qualify. You have to qualify yourself to be at that position, right? And then only that would give you opportunity to enter into it, right? So actually, another point, which is that to qualify, right? So Narada Muni purify himself, right? And before he purify himself, what he did, he qualified himself for the process, right? By serving Bhakti Vedantas, by following the instruction of the Bhakti Vedantas. And after doing all this, following all this purification process, his behavior become gentle, right? Now what happened? Now, Bhaktivedantas, right, at the time, as the season of autumn and the rain, right, had finished, and then Bhaktivedanta is about to leave. They were about to leave for the other place, right? Because the sannyasis, they never stay at one place, because they are always Dham Paryatam, right? The verse which I've started with. They were traveling across the world, they are traveling across a place to distribute the love of the Godhead. So once Narada Muni, they saw when they were leaving, they saw that Narad's behavior become very gentle. He's so much has so much attractions for Krishna. So they said that he actually qualified, and then he purified himself by following this bhakti. That's why they give him initiation, right? He gave him initiation, and then after the initiation, all the Bhaktivedanta left for their next journey, right? And when he was at the place of the when he was staying when he was staying with his mother. Actually, his mother was very pious, as I explained, right? So her mother was also helping him remember. And when he was staying there, he was continuously remembering and contemplating onto the message what is being taught by Bhaktivedanta. Whatever all the transcendental knowledge which was imparted by Bhaktivedanta, he was meditating on them, and he was following that knowledge, following that message. And his mother was also helping him to remember and then follow the instruction. So Bhaktivedanta, so Narad Muni, he got his initiating guru, right, like Bhaktivedanta, and he has his mother who is with Siksha Guru, right. But suddenly now there was something which really going to change, right. What is going to change now is that his mother, which would be beaten, right. His mother was going to be. His mother was in a one day. He was in a morning. He was going out and milking the cow, and suddenly he was bitten by the serpent, right? And when he was bitten by the serpent, it was really difficult time for Narad Muni, or that little boy. But he was able to compose himself by remembering and following the instruction of Bhaktivedantas. And after after that time, he just see that okay, maybe because of the certain reason or because of the time, uh, the serpent had bitten my mother. He decided to leave this, but he took it as a direct or special mercy of the Lord. That maybe Lord has some other plan, right? When Prabhupada started the program in Jhansi, and when it didn't work out, Prabhupada really didn't cry out that okay, I started the League of Devotee, it didn't fail. No, but he said maybe Lord wants me to do something better. If that didn't fail, Prabhupada never come here, right? So same way, Narada also he thought that maybe Krishna has some other plan, and that's why he moved further, right? And then he started going around. He started going around. He travels various forests and everywhere. And then one day he was sitting under a tree and started to meditate on the Lord, right? When he was meditating, the tears flowing from his eyes, and he see the Lord into his hearts, right? His both the limbs started quivering, and he started to feel, and then started to feel, have the feeling of gratitude, right? And he was always and he was very much, when he saw the Krishna for the first time, he becomes very ecstatic and felt so much of blissful. But then what happened? Then suddenly the Lord disappeared, right? Lord disappeared. Narada tried very hard. Narada tried very hard to see the Lord again, but Lord did not come into his heart, right? So that is another point, that whatever we try, how much what we do to serve or to remember Krishna, but by without the mercy of the Lord, it's really difficult to see the Lord in our heart, right? And and just to console Narada, Lord, what did he do? He again appeared. He again, or he directly speak to Narada, right? And he's telling that okay, this life, because still you have some material tinge which has been left, which you need to purify. Until unless you purify them, it's really hard for you to see me, right? And then he explained this three things into that verse. He said that one who is immature in devotional service, one whose heart is filled with the dirt, and one who is incomplete in a service, they won't be able to see the Lord in their heart, right? This verse, because of the time, we will not go in detail. And then after that time, right, once the Lord disappeared and Lord instructed personally to Narada, what Narada did, Jai Shri Shri Gaunitai ki Jai, Srinath Ji Gopal Ji ki Jai, Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ki Jai. So Narada did not discourage, right? And then he continuously meditated on the instruction of Bhaktivedanta and traveled across the different pilgrimage, fully satisfied. And at the end of the life, right, Narada reached the perfection, because death, everyone has to go through that. But Bhagavatam described that when he simultaneously met the death, right, and he also attained the love of Godhead. And the example which is given, that when we have a rain, right, we have a thunderbolt and the lightning. So rain and lightning, both a noise and the lightning both takes place same way. Same way he died, and he also attained the love of a Godhead. And in the next birth, He born as a son of Brahma, as a Narad. And also, it's explained in 1:624 that Narad Muni did not forget anything. Actually, we always says that whatever the little progress which you do in a devotional service, it has never been lost. You always remember whatever you did or you carry forward. That is the verse where Narada Muni, even passing from the Upabarhana to as a son of the maid servant to Narada, he remembered everything. Right? We have another two examples like Gajendra also remembered. Also, we have a right Jada Bharat. We have also. Vitrasur also remembered, right, when the Indradev cutting his neck, he was remembering and praying to the Lord, right. So, what are the key takeaway, right? The journey of a devotional service depend on the attitude of a sadhaka, right? Everyone given a chance, right? So, based on your attitude, you can be upabarhana, so much attached in the material life, or else you can be the boy Narada, where you have been given a chance, an opportunity. You can take the maximum out of this opportunity and go back to spiritual world, right? We can receive the mercy only through the devotee, right? That is very important. Actually, when Narada first received the mercy, it was not the Bhaktivedanta or his mother. Actually, the first mercy he got was from the Prajapatis. When they cursed him, actually, that curse was a mercy, and by that mercy, he was able to attain the Godhead. And by and the another most important point is by the continuous recitation of the holy name and his pastime, anyone can be free from this material, free from the formalities of the material world, and they can be fully satisfied without any envy and pride. Hare Krishna. Okay. Any comment or question anyone has? Mataji, don't ask question. Please add comments. Okay. Yes, Prabhu. I just want to share one comment that Narad Muni's greatness, there's no end to it. Like even when he gives a curse, it's a blessing. Correct. Like he gave the curse to Navku and Manigriva. And that curse led them to see the Lord Damodar Leela in front of their eyes. So it's amazing how great soul Narad Muni is. Right. So like that, there's so many. So many examples. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you very much. Haribol. Thank you. Haribol.